What's up, everybody? I'm gonna make a YouTube video to kind of document what I'm doing here. These videos cover my butt. Anyways, I got gloves on. It's cold, so I have to use this stylus to hit record. Got the phone up on a tripod. This is Florida cold, right? It's I don't know if you can see that there on the camera, but it's 1:16 in the morning. So it's like 37 degrees here in Apopka. And I'm going to show you guys what we're working on. This is a 2005 Toyota Matrix. And this Toyota Matrix needed an alternator, but because he's got a stereo system, he's got a boombox in the trunk, right? He's got a boombox back there. I'll show it to you. It's in the trunk. Yep, dropped it. This is the all-wheel drive model. All right, so he's got a boombox there, and he's got an amp, right? And they weren't too professional about installing it, but it's installed. That's all that matters, right? So I like the rims on it. They look good. Show you a better shot of them. It's got some nice wheels on it, but I don't like the radio installation. You see how they ran the wire there? Pretty cheesy installation on the wiring. We're gonna run that wire up under the dash coming out the firewall. I had the scanner in here, don't pay no mind to that. I was running some, reading some codes and looking at some live data. But it's got a nice double DIN in here, a head unit. It's a pretty decent little Matrix. Belongs to a young guy, you know, they like to have their music. Anyways, because he has the music, we're gonna install the wiring for the speaker a little better. Instead of running it through there, I'm gonna run it in through the firewall behind the dash. But back to what this video is about. Because of that stereo system, we wanted to upgrade the alternator. I don't know how well you can see that, but that's a 165 amp alternator that we've put on there versus the factory one. I think it's like 85 or 90 on the factory one, somewhere in between 85 and 110. So we upgraded that, and then while we're in here already, as preventative maintenance, we went ahead and did the starter. Just because, why not? We're already in here. It's an original starter. It's never been replaced. So we went ahead and did the starter on it. I cleaned the back also of the throttle body here. I'm gonna need a new gasket for it. I cleaned the surface on the head where the intake manifold is gonna bolt. And the engine block itself is kind of clean. Thermostat is good, so we didn't mess with it too much. I painted the valve cover. I did the fuel injectors on this. They're in there, so I removed that fuel rail under the fuel injectors. I put on new coils, new spark plugs, put a new belt on it, did the little tune-up, you know, did the valve cover gasket. We upgraded the battery on it to a bigger battery. got a warranty. It was affordable, but it's good. So it's a K20 battery for those of you wondering what kind of battery it is. We got it properly tied down, obviously. Replaced the PCV hoses on them. They were hard and not flexible, so we got some new PCV hoses and a new PCV valve. Let me show you over here. This is the original starter that was on there that came out, and that's the original Denso factory alternator that it had on it from Toyota. So that had never been replaced from 2005 until December of 2020. And technically it was still working. It was going weak. It was giving low voltage. It wasn't giving a steady 14 amps, but I think it's the stereo system that tired it out. If we would have stayed with the factory stereo, it would have probably lived a little longer, happier. The starter, again, is getting tired. So why not? Again, from 2005 till now, it had never been replaced. So it's ideal to go ahead and, for peace of mind, while we're in here, going ahead and replacing that. We replaced the gasket for the intake. Obviously, you want it to be nice and soft, and you want that to have a new gasket all the way around. I cleaned in here. Now the throttle body also has a gasket that goes in that crack, and that gasket didn't come in the gasket set that we ordered. That throttle body gasket that I'm missing is what bolts to that. So I'm actually going to hold off on putting this together and go get the throttle body gasket for this tomorrow at O'Reilly's, right? Because it's my favorite store. Love the guys at O'Reilly's, and I always shop there. But I'll get that throttle body gasket for this. This is the old intake gasket that just came off. So that'll go in the trash. Seen better days. This is the throttle body gasket that I need. Now, most guys would just put a little RTV gasket maker around that and reuse it. Once it's been pancaked, like squeezed in there, it's not recommended to reuse it. You'll have a small vacuum leak, and you'll be looking for it, and you won't be able to find it unless you have a smoke machine. This one, you pull them out from this little nipple right here, and when I pulled it out, it came out stiff, like it's already hardened. So I definitely don't want to reuse that throttle body gasket. I'll definitely be replacing that. So that's going to stop me tonight. Like I said, it's cold. So not to be lazy. I like the cold. I like the Florida cold. Don't get me wrong. It's a nice change of pace from always working in the hot to now being able to work in the cold a little bit. It's a little different. So we bundle up, sweater, gloves, hoodie, because like I said, it's 37 degrees. So we're trying to stay warm, but I got to do some late night work because there's just, sorry, I forget that's on. There's not enough hours in the day to only work in the day when you're a one-man operation. But yeah, tomorrow we put a dent in it tonight. Tomorrow we'll get that throttle body. I'll put the intake manifold on tonight. I'll bolt this up tonight in here because I got this gasket. And then tomorrow I'll get this throttle body gasket, put the throttle body on, and start it up and go from there. But set this down for a minute. This intake manifold, I would say is not that hard to do. I guess I'll show it to you since I have it in my hand. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bolts, right, on the intake manifold. Show them to you from this way. And so those are the 5 bolts you have there. And then you have a couple bolts over here with a bracket that holds the throttle body in place. And you have another bolt down here on the bottom also, plus your throttle body. The biggest thing to pay attention on removing this is, I'll hold it in the light here, is this nipple for this. It's like a vacuum hose that goes into there. And you want to be careful when you remove this to not damage that hose. That hose, I'll show it to you. It's down here. Let me grab the phone and get it closer. All right, so it's this hose right here. And you want to be careful not to break it or damage it or nothing like that, because then you're getting into more work, right? And so be gentle with that hose before you remove the intake gasket. Don't try to jerk it off without disconnecting that hose first. Other than that, you have the bracket that I mentioned that goes down to that bolt right there, and it also bolts up the throttle body. Once the throttle body is bolted back up, you have your connectors on the bottom, and on the back side you have your accelerator cable, things of that nature. You have your 2 coolant idle air control hoses coming in. You don't need to detach those. You can just lean that off to the side, and you can clean the back side of that. This is a cable controlled accelerator, so you can open the butterfly and clean inside without worrying about having to do a throttle relearn. My advice would be very careful on cleaning inside the valve ports. You don't want any junk falling in there. So when I sanded all this down, I had some tape balled up that I shoved in there, and then I sanded it so when you pull the tape out, whatever dust was there gets pulled out instead of falling in as you're sanding. You don't want any debris in there. So I think that's pretty much it. Alternators installed, starters installed. The only other thing that hides under this intake is that thermostat, that knock sensor. That's really about all you got on the front of the block here. Nothing else to really be concerned about. So we'll put that intake back. We'll get that throttle body gasket tomorrow, and we'll check this one off the list. Anybody wondering how hard it is to put a starter on their Toyota Matrix 2005? Anybody considering putting a stereo system? Make sure your wires are properly ran behind the dash, not through the door. Make sure you upgrade an alternator. That way the charging system can handle the extra power from the stereo system. Just, be diligent about it. Take care of those details. Anyways, I'm going to slap that intake on real quick while this video uploads, and I'm going to call it a night. Tomorrow is a new day. Again, thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next video for the next vehicle. Until then, stay warm, especially if you're up north. I know this isn't like up north cold, but this is Florida cold. 37 degrees is Florida cold. Like, I had a buddy that was going to come help me tonight, and he was supposed to come work with me tonight on a different vehicle. I was going to work on this and that, with his help, work on both vehicles kind of tonight. But he called me and he was like, yo, it is too cold. You're crazy. I ain't doing it. I can't do it. When I lived up north in Virginia, I used to shovel snow. We lived through snow blizzards, all that. I think your body definitely gets adjusted to that climate. We're like chameleons. We adapt to our environment. If I lived in Canada or Alaska, like I look at them now, like, what? It's cold as hell. It's like -10, -20 up there. There's no way, I say, but your body actually adjusts to it after, some time. And Florida, you adjust to the heat. They look at us like, what? It's so hot. The humidity, I can't take it. How do y'all even live down there? Like the same with the people in Las Vegas. You live in the desert. Oh, I couldn't do it. We adapt. Our bodies adapt. But in Florida, we really don't get cold. We're spoiled down here with tropical weather pretty much all year round. So when we get, like, there's a snow blizzard up north, man, I pray for everyone up there staying safe, driving in that especially. But here we don't, this is why we're getting the cold here, because we're getting like the tail end of that winter storm they're dealing with up north. Here we really don't deal with winter, like cold like this. This is the first cold day of the whole year of 2020, dropping down to 37 here. So I'm actually enjoying it. All year I work without a shirt, sweating, working on hot cars, hot days. It's nice to feel the cold a little bit. I don't want it here all year round, and that's why I live in Florida. It's short-lived, but these cold nights, like I said, they're short-lived. So I'm gonna enjoy this cold night, stay productive. Anyways, thanks for watching the video. Don't want to yap too much. I'm gonna call it a night. Go inside, enjoy a nice cup of hot tea, and watch some Motor Trend TV until I pass out. God bless y'all. Catch y'all in the next video. Stay safe, everyone. Peace.